Hi guys, and welcome back to another week of TFW, the footballing show dominated by all of your opinions, where from now on, things have changed. So Angelina has joined myself as we have got a brand new show for you containing all the bits that you've loved and a little bit extra. So without any further ado, let's get straight into it. So first off, from your opinions in the community tab, we have Thabiso Mapasane, who has said, PSG need to sack their manager now or they'll become like Tottenham, a team that has lost their identity. Shots fired. We're like 20 seconds into the new show.
First question. I mean,
brutal.
Identity is a little bit strong, I think. It's early days. Half the team have been struck down by coronavirus.
Yeah.
I think you can't really judge him just yet. He did get them to a Champions League final, so give him a minute.
Champions League final, and also the identity of PSG recently has been big money signings and attacking attractive players. So even if they were to sack Tuchel, the next guy who comes in is still like, oh, I've got Neymar and Mbappe at my disposal. It's probably a good idea that I let those guys play.
Exactly.
There's not really much other identity. Screw it. Right, next up.
Okay, so this question is from Kashova Karshik. Lewandowski must go to some other league to prove that he can play good in any league and is truly worth being called one of the greatest of all time, because Bayern can win the Bundesliga even without him.
I disagree. I wholeheartedly disagree with this. I don't know how you feel.
I think he should. I would love to see Lewandowski playing in a different league. Imagine him in the Premier League.
Don't get me wrong, that's a
La
cool
Liga.
thought, but he doesn't have to.
But he could. Why not try something new?
Nah, because this is the thing. This is the problem, that what Ronaldo has done has been so amazing that everyone's been like, oh, I did it, Premier League, La Liga, Serie A. You don't have to do that. Like Lewandowski, if he's happy playing for Bayern...
travel around.
Yeah, I know, but if he's playing for Bayern and he's winning trophies like he is, and he's scoring goals, and he's having a great career, making lots of money, why does he need to leave? I don't feel like people need to leave to prove themselves, because everyone talks about Pele as being the best, and he never played in European football.
Fair enough.
Maradona did. Maybe that's more of his case. Everyone's saying Messi should leave Barcelona, see how good he is without Barca. I don't think you need to. It's your career, Robert. Do what you like. Right, next up, Chalmers Gayamfi. I think that's how it's pronounced. It says Fabinho is overrated. That no one's holding any fire today at all. He's contributed to Liverpool's midfield, but he's not at that level to be a superb box-to-box midfielder like Thiago.
Again, shots fired. I mean, I'm not Liverpool's #1 fan, but I don't think you can really... Oh, apparently.
Tell me more.
Well, no, I don't think you can come in that hot on hating him. I think he's been fantastic for Liverpool. Yeah. Yes, Thiago's an amazing player, but I don't think we have to be too harsh to Fabinho either.
I also don't think it's the same position. I mean, Liverpool fans, let us know how this midfield would set up. Fabinho is not a box-to-box midfielder.
And that's okay.
He's the holding, the anchor, the defensive midfielder. Thiago as well isn't box-to-box, and if he came into Liverpool, I don't even think he'd be a box-to-box midfielder either. He kind of sits there and dictates the play. In terms of busting a gut, you know, 90 minutes worth of energy, that's Gino Wijnaldum and Jordan Henderson.
Yeah.
Thiago nor Fabinho do that role. To say Fabinho's overrated, maybe because he doesn't get a load of goals and do some crazy shit that everyone seems to love these days. But what he does for Liverpool is utterly phenomenal. And I think he's been the best in his position.
Okay,
in my opinion.
Well, fair enough. Next up, this is from George Parsons. Unpopular opinion. If Chelsea or Man United don't finish in the top 4, Lampard or Solskjaer will be sacked. Who was sent in this dribble?
I think maybe for Lampard, because he spent more money.
Yeah.
There's got to be more than that, surely.
The stakes are higher for him.
The stakes are higher when you spend 250 million and then do worse than last season, because they finished in 4th last season. Yeah, the stakes are higher for Lampard, but having said that, if Abramovich is going to back these players to be the future of Chelsea, he's also backed Lampard to be the future of Chelsea.
I agree.
For example, you wouldn't then sell Havertz and Werner and Ziyech if they had one bad season. So why would you get rid of Lampard if they had one bad season?
Yeah, I think it's the same for United as well. They both seem to be believing in these managers and what they want to do, so... That's
the thing, they believe in them going forward. It's not like they need them to be successful right now.
Exactly.
I don't think... I'm not sure. There will be question marks. It depends. It depends how they finish outside the top 4. Yeah. If they finish outside the top 4,
But they've won a trophy.
Yeah, if they've won a trophy, they're saved. If they've played good football, brought through some good youngsters, and they put up a real fight, that's fine. If they just completely 7th, 8th, 9th, really are far away from top 4, I think questions are going to be asked.
Yeah.
Talking of questions asked, or opinions formed even, from Johnny Nick, this weekend showed the Premier League is a step too far for Fulham or West Brom. I agree, Johnny. I agree. I can see them both getting relegated this season. Leeds, on the other hand, looks set to stay after a strong performance.
I mean, yeah, I'm not even going to mention Leeds, but yeah, I mean, I think it pretty much showed their performances, and it's tough because you're going from being the best in your league to suddenly coming into being the crappiest. Psychologically, it can't be good, but yeah, I tend to agree with that. I don't like calling out teams after the first game, but...
Yeah, you're right after the first game, but Fulham have just done what they did last time. They've got the same guys. They've got the same guys in this team. Have you not signed anyone? There is like you just said, there is a kind of decision to be made when you come up. Do you stick with what made you the best last year in the Championship? Or do you abandon all principles, say, I'm too scared that we're going to lose and get relegated, let's go super defensive? Bielsa's kind of stuck to his guns, which is quite good. But the others are West Brom. I saw the West Brom team, my word. I don't even know how they got promoted. That team is lacking in such Premier League quality, I'd honestly fear for West Brom and Fulham heavily. Much more so than Leeds. Okay, I was going to take yours.
Last question is from Giannis Galanos. I think that Leeds United can be this year's Sheffield United and challenge for Europe this season. They proved they have the skills and the character for that from the very first game in the season. Now, I'm a United fan. There is no way on this earth that I am ever going to want to see Leeds United do well. I'm sorry, but there's not.
Honestly, is 17th doing well for them though? That's the question. That's one of the questions. If everyone's saying there should be the next Sheffield United or Wolves or whatever, who really, really knows? I think it was a strong performance at the weekend.
Yes.
Might be a bit too soon to read into it after just one game. Although the Bielsa thing is rather attractive.
They'll slip up, I'm sure.
She's hoping. Anyway, that leads us on to our main topic of the week, where we discussed Leeds and their potential to survive with our special guest this week, Statman Dave. So earlier I caught up with him over Skype so we could discuss this and more. So why don't you guys take a look? Yeah, so it came from Giannis Galanos, Dave, who said that he thinks Leeds can be this year's Sheffield United and challenge for Europe. They've proved they've got the skills and character from the very first game in the season. I'm assuming you watched that fantastic opener against Liverpool. It was pretty mad, wasn't it? Are you taking a lot away from that game, or is it a one-off?
It's a difficult one because I think Leeds are going to cause so many teams problems. You know, the movement from central midfield with Click and Pablo Hernandez, those underlaps are going to be so dangerous. Again, Leeds scoring goals from those types of moves. The Click goal was absolutely perfect. The winger playing it inside in, Click firing it in on the half volley. But I really think that Sheffield United and Wolves, the reason why they got into that European places was their defensive record. At the back, both teams set up with 5 at the back, 3 in midfield and 2 up front. They played arguably on the counter-attack. This Leeds team is a lot more fun than that. They like to play with the ball. They like to attack. 3 goals at Anfield. That's happened 6 times in Jurgen Klopp's reign in the Premier League. So, I think Leeds will do really well this season. They'll be a fan favourite, but I reckon around mid-table. I think Europe is slightly too high for them down to that defence.
Yeah, it feels to me like all them seasons ago when Blackpool came up. Do you remember they were super exciting, scoring a lot of goals, and ultimately it was their downfall? Like just scoring so many but being so sort of open at the back. Is that something that Bielsa's going to change though? Because he seems to stick to his guns pretty well.
I think he's going to, keep doing what's doing so well, and that is playing football. That is playing out from the back. That is playing this vertical tiki-taka style where they look to break through the lines. If that works against one of the best pressing teams in Europe in Liverpool, then you have to stick with it. It's as simple as that. I think Leeds will get found out against, teams with pace. Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City, teams that have got players that can run in behind their defence or open them up. The big thing with Leeds, if you bypass that press, if you get round their front 3 and their 2 central midfielders, you're at Calvin Phillips and a back 4, and then that's what teams will do. But you're looking at the likes of Burnley, the likes of Crystal Palace, Southampton, these teams that play quite rigid in their defensive style and look to hit you on the counter-attack. Leeds will be able to open these teams up. And I think that's where we'll see some really exciting games. Those sort of mid-table battles. We'll go for a game on a Sunday that you're not going to be bothered watching. So Leeds United are playing. Let's get the TV on. Bielsa may sit on a cup of coffee again. Let's go.
Honestly, I feel like that's literally half the Premier League's fans. Like, it's just going to be exciting just to turn these on, just to watch the game, just to see Bielsa do something mad.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely.
What did you think of the new signings then for Leeds as well? I mean, Rodrigo obviously giving away that penalty. Koch, I thought, had not the greatest game. There was a penalty, then he lost Van Dijk, but then I thought he did okay for the rest of it, considering it was his first game.
Yeah, it was a crazy 20 minutes. In those 20 minutes, he handballed it for the penalty, and then, like you say, he completely lost Virgil van Dijk. But again, it's going to take a little bit of time for him to get set with Bielsa's style, with the football. It's going to be a tough start to life there, but I fully believe Robin Koch, from watching him from the Bundesliga, he's a decent enough player. Rodrigo as well is someone that will challenge Bamford. Bamford last season didn't really have anyone to challenge him. His conversion rate was around 11%, which is really poor for a centre-forward. But he took his goal really well. And it's like, sometimes you come of age, sometimes you come back into the Premier League and you think, right, this is my time to shine, which is Bamford. Now he's got Rodrigo down his neck that hasn't done great in terms of, goals, shot numbers from last season. But actually, it was his best assist season. So you're thinking how Leeds are playing. They like a bit of a false nine in there. They like to get those central midfielders past the centre forward or close to the centre forward. I think it's really going to work for Rodrigo. So for me, the Leeds signings have been fantastic. And they will just improve this Leeds team. And that's all you can expect. I think the starting 11, the midfield, with those two signings, it's just a massive upgrade. So Leeds are going to go from strength to strength with these new guys.
And do you think as well, though, I feel like there's a bit of pressure for them to be the next Sheffield United and Wolves. Like you're saying, can they come up and challenge for Europe and that? Surely 17th is still the target. Just not going down.
I think they can't have 17th as a target. I think the performance against Arsenal in the FA Cup last season, they had the most possession in that game. They made more tackles than Arsenal, even with the most possession. That set a standard. If you can compete against that Arsenal team from the Championship, you know that you're better than a Championship side. So for me, Leeds have got to be looking mid-table. They've got to be looking for Europe. They've got to just think, what can we best possibly do, and go for it. And Bielsa will do that. Bielsa's a guy that has driven teams on. You're thinking that Athletic Bilbao team that was so good with Ander Herrera in there, Fernando Llorente. He will aim for the stars, and so he should do. I think that Arsenal game was a great sort of dial of where Leeds United were as a football club, and their style alone will get them up the league. So they should be aiming for top half. That would be the minimum for me, because I think that's what they can do. That's what they have with them. That's their potential, Matt, and they've got to do it.
Big predictions for the season. Perfect. Thank you so much for that. Before you go, though, we'll move on to our new little bit on the TFW, where we asked for a bit of a forecast for the week. Now, can you give us any sort of forecast? It can be anything from any club to a transfer to a game. Me and Angelina will, of course, give ours in a second. It's basically something that we're going to look back on next Monday and just have a laugh at you if you get it wrong.
So I'm going to go with Manchester United to win the opening game of the Premier League season, and Anthony Martial to grab a brace. There you go.
Big call. Okay, we will review that next Monday. And thank you so much, as always, for joining me, Dave. But hopefully have you back on the show soon.
So there we have Statman Dave speaking about Leeds, thinking they should be challenging for Europa. And also the weekly forecast, which is a new segment on the show as well. And we want you guys to get involved too. So anything that can happen this week. Dave's gone for United to win their first game of the season. And Anthony Martial to score 2 goals.
Fantastic forecast.
Ballsy.
I like that.
What about you? What are you going for this week?
You know what? I am going to go for the Everton-Salford City game in the Carabao Cup. Now, Salford is my hometown, my home team, run by Gary Neville and all the United favourites. So I think that they are going to beat Everton. I'm going to go, about 3-0, I'll say.
3-0?
Yeah.
Outrageous. I'm going to go for a full week's worth of absolute nightmare for Spurs. We're going to come back to this next Monday and see what happens. I think they'll just get past Plovdiv, the Bulgarian giants in the Europa League. I think they'll scrape a draw at Southampton and they won't sign a striker. I hope so much next Monday we come back and I'm wrong.
I know.
I hope we can sit there and laugh and Spurs have won 5-0 and they've brought in like 3 players.
Here's hoping.
Not going to happen. Anyway, we will check back on that next Monday, but that is it. That is all from us for this week's TFW. Of course, you guys let us know your weekly forecast in the comments section below. Smash the like button and let us know what you think of the brand new show. Whilst you're at it, you can also check the rest of the stuff we got going on OneFootball around here. But for myself and Angelina, until next week, we will see you guys later.
It's the night.